Hi friends, Pastor Chris here. I am the Associate Pastor here at West Lawn United Methodist Church. I want to again say thank you for joining us on our daily devotional videos, this being the final installment of our Life Verse series, which not only myself and Pastor Jeff had participated in, but many of our staff here at West Lawn opening themselves up, opening their hearts up to share their own personal testimonies and the portions of Scripture that inspire them, who they are. So I hope you found this series to be meaningful, to be inspiring, and to help you to center yourselves upon God. And for today, the last installment is my last submission, comes from the words of Christ himself. Matthew 7, and you know I like to read from the New Living Translation. So Matthew 7:3, and why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? Now, before we get too theological with this, I just wholeheartedly believe that this passage here alone confirms that Jesus has a sense of humor. And I like to use humor, so that brings me a lot of comfort. Because when you think about it, it's kind of like an old school cartoon visualization we have here when we read this. And why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? So, I mean, this is little splinter I like to see here in my mind's eye and in my friend's eye. But then in my own, you have this big, giant, maybe like telephone pole coming out of your eyeball. And it's silly. It's exaggeratory. It's we'll just say hyperbole. I think it's hyperbolic. No, that's a hyperbolic chamber, but hyperbolic. Yes, hyperbolic is what Jesus uses. I don't know if that's a word. But he does that to teach us a greater lesson. And that lesson, of course, here is judgment, because the first verse, we'll read the first five verses of Matthew 7, because Jesus tells us about this speck in the log. Do not judge others, and you will not be judged, Jesus says, for you will be treated as you treat others. The standard you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged. And why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? How can you think of saying to your friend, let me help you get rid of that speck in your eye, when you can't see past the log in your own eye? Hypocrite! First get rid of the log in your own eye, and then you will see well enough to deal with the speck in your friend's eye. So, of course, this passage is about judgment, and I struggle with that. Even as a pastor, I struggle comparing myself. Sometimes I get in my high horse and think that I'm holier than thou, and I know that I'm not, but it's just the part of my flesh, my humanity, who I am. And the reason that I need Jesus, because my pride gets in my way, and I think of this passage that helps me to recenter myself, to reground myself, and Jesus basically swatting me upside the head, saying, hey, listen, don't worry about X person over there or Y person down the street. Worry about yourself. And ultimately, I think that's a lot of our problems, myself included, when we get ourselves in a pickle in our lives, whether it's in church or in school or our workplace or even at home, right? Sometimes we just overextend our input into other people's lives, when in reality, self-evaluation and self-reflection and introspection should come to our forefront of our minds and our spiritual lives, versus telling somebody else what's wrong in theirs and how great you are, and what they should do to follow you. I mean, this isn't to call out bad behavior. This isn't to refrain from calling a sin or to try to make our relationships and our world a better place. That's not what I'm saying. But what Jesus is saying, and what I am to be reminded of myself, is to not spend my time judging others, to not worrying so much about what they are doing versus what I can be doing, and working on my own sin and worrying about myself versus others. Because ultimately, it's up to God to judge us, not Pastor Chris, not you, but it's all between that person and between you and God, between me and God. And that's what Jesus is reminding us here. And quite frequently, I need this passage to come to the forefront of my mind. And quite frankly, when I'm driving and I look at the telephone poles alongside the road, more often than not, so even on a daily basis, this passage comes to mind, and it helps me to pump the brakes a little bit and to be grounded in Christ. So I just want to again thank you And we have an exciting new series beginning on Monday, which we hope you'll like. And here is that infomercial or commercial or advertisement for it. And friends, I miss you all, and may God be with you until we meet again. What's your favorite hymn? I'm sure you have one. Maybe it's one we sing only during Christmas time, like Joy to the World or Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Maybe it's one you've learned at camp quite some time ago. Perhaps your favorite hymn is a popular one like Amazing Grace or How Great Thou Art. Maybe it's one that hardly anyone knows, but that hymn holds sentimental value for you. Whatever your favorite hymn may be, please email it to me, Pastor Chris, along with Pastor Jeff, and tell us why it's your favorite, and it could be used during our upcoming devotional series titled Hymns of Faith. And as always, may God be with you until we meet again. So in the spirit of Jesus and his sense of humor, I'm going to share with you a joke. I haven't shared one in a while. So there was this a pastor and a taxi driver, and they both die, and they both go to heaven. Peter the apostle is there at the pearly gates waiting on them. And he says, come over here with me, to the taxi driver. And he takes the taxi driver, and he follows him to this big mansion. The mansion has everything that you could imagine. It has a bowling alley, has an Olympic-sized swimming pool, a big screen TV, even has a movie theater in the basement. Wow, thank you, says the taxi driver, and he enjoys his new mansion in heaven. Next, Peter comes back for the pastor, and he takes him to this old, broken down, rugged-looking shack. It's equipped with a bunk bed, so he's expecting a roommate, and this old tube TV, a little college refrigerator. And the pastor says, whoa, wait a second. I think you have something mixed up. Shouldn't I be the one to get that mansion? After all, as the pastor, I went to church every Sunday. I preached God's word. I shared God's love with everyone. So yeah, I think you made a mistake here, Peter. Peter says, well, that is all true. You did preach God's word, but unfortunately, during your sermons, people slept. And whenever the taxi driver drove, people prayed.